Shalom Israel. We are the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. Started out of 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under the commanding General Yohana. We have been bringing this truth since 1969. And what is that truth? That truth is that the so-called blacks, the so-called Hispanics, and the so-called Native Indians are the true Jews of the Bible, and the white man is the devil that the Bible speaks of. I'm holding the class down today for General Isupkbmore. We're going to hold it down. And today's class, which you all know is Monday, is history class. So we're going to get into a few things. We're going to talk about some stuff. Let me see. A few weeks ago, we went to a town hall meeting. As you all know, a lot of y'all don't know, or if y'all don't know, we having a mayoral race coming up. And we went to a town hall meeting probably about 4 weeks ago. Well, after that 4 weeks, within that time, we got to ask a couple of questions at that first town hall meeting. And at that first town hall meeting, the mayoral candidates were kind of confused and baffled. They couldn't answer our question, and we asked them questions about things that go on in our community. How can you protect our community? How can you bring black businesses? And that was our main question, of bringing black businesses back into our community, back into the black community. Well, they couldn't answer these questions, and the whole night, it was they kept reverberating the same thing over and over again. Everybody was stuck on crime. Everybody was stuck on crime. Well, we know we have crime in our neighborhoods, but the purpose, the reason, a lot of the reasons why we got crime in our neighborhoods is because we don't own anything in our neighborhood. So a lot of people don't have jobs. A lot of people don't have a way out. A lot of people don't own anything. Well, none of us own anything in our own communities. If we own the things in our own community, we could help our own people out. We could pull our own people out. The crime rate would drop. But the whole purpose of us not owning anything in our own community is so that the crime rate would be up. And it's not at our benefit, it's at our oppressors' benefit. The whole purpose is not to have us, owning anything in our community to the point where we could help out the people in our community. And this is the whole reason we went to this town hall meeting. So what we did was they had another one 2 weeks later. So we went to this town hall meeting 2 weeks later, which was on 33rd, over there by where the old stadium used to be at the YMCA. And in this town hall meeting, now they switched the whole process up at the town hall meeting. And we were not allowed to verbally ask questions. You had to answer questions after you had to write them down on a card. And on these cards, they had these specific questions that they wanted you to ask. So it wasn't like you could come out and ask the questions that you wanted. They had specific topics that they had written down so that you couldn't ask them a question that they could not answer. Not only that, you had to drop it into a box. The box, it was 5 different boxes, and the boxes were shaken up. And it wasn't necessarily a chance that you were going to get your question asked. So they switched up the whole formula. And the purpose of them switching up the whole formula is because these people in all of these political positions and in these political offices that hold these positions are holding positions not to your detriment or your benefit, but to their own. These people in these political offices are not placed there to help you out. They are placed there to help themselves out and to mainly help out the oppressor. You understand what I'm saying? The whole question going back and forth the whole night at this second town hall meeting was about squeegee kids. Okay, let's talk about the squeegee kids. If the squeegee kids were out here selling drugs or a lot of disorderly conduct, then they would have every right and every reason to keep bringing up this up about the squeegee kids, but the squeegee kids were not the problem. And they made one incident of a squeegee kid banging on somebody's car window. They made that a whole issue, and they used that whole issue for almost an hour, which we know that wasn't the whole premise behind that squeegee kid banging on that person's window. Because I saw a lot of times, I saw our oppressor get these squeegee kids to wash their windows, and they didn't want to pay them. Somebody got you to do work and didn't want to pay you, how would you feel? Exactly. And this is the reason why we need to separate. You understand what I'm saying? Because this political system, this law system does not work to our benefit. And I'm talking about the so-called Black, Hispanic, and the Native Indian. This does not work to our detriment. You understand what I'm saying? We are in a system that is built to work against us. We are considered a second-class citizen. You understand? And as a second-class citizen, you are in a position where you are a slave, basically. There's no question to it. You are just basically a slave. And I don't know if any of you, anybody out there, you can Google this on your phone, right? There was a law created in 1638, a Maryland state law created in 1638, which was called the Doctrine of Exclusion. This doctrine of exclusion was started in Maryland and it was adopted by the other 13 colonies at different times. And each colony placed a different spin on this doctrine of exclusion. And basically, the doctrine of exclusion states that any slave, descendant of a slave, or person of color shall not enjoy the fruits of white society. So now, first question I want to ask, does anybody know what the fruits of white society is? If anybody is online, can you answer that question? What is the fruits of white society? I'm gonna give a couple of minutes, a minute or two on that. Let me look through some stuff. What is the fruits of white society? See if somebody can get that for me. All right. I'm going to answer that question. The fruits of white society is any kind of economical resource, a social resource, or any kind of thing that you can build a community off of. If you can build a community off of a particular thing, we were not allowed to have that. So it doesn't mean if you have a car. It doesn't mean if you have a good job. It doesn't mean if you like let's say own a little small corner store doesn't count. You understand? Because owning a small corner store basically only helps you take care of your family, doesn't build a community. Although you can help people out within your community because it has been done, Black people have done it for years. But basically, the fruits of white society would be, let's say, owning a gas station. That would be a fruit of white society. Why do I say that would be a fruit of white society? Because you can actually build a community off of a gas station. A mall is a fruit of white society. Anything that you can build and help a whole community of people and you can build a community off of is a fruit of white society. This is a law, and that law stands to this day. If the law didn't stand to this day, let me ask a question. If it didn't stand to this day, how many so-called black, so-called Spanish or Native Indians own a franchise supermarket? How many of them own a chain of supermarkets? How many of them own a mall? How many of them own schools? Things that you can build a community off of. How many of them own these things? Can you answer that? We don't own any of these things. And this is the reason why we sit in a position that we sit in the society that we are in today. This is the reason why the Most High tells us to separate away from these people. He tells us to separate away from these people because if we separate away from these people, then we would have to do what? We would have to depend on our own people. You understand what I'm saying? We would have to depend on our own people. So I want to drop into this the scripture, Ecclesiasticus, chapter 37, verse 11.
Hold on, let me check Facebook real quick.
Okay.
Then I get with you.
Okay. All right. I gotta grab something else anyway. Let me flip back.
What's your title?
Come from among them. Salaki, sir. Don't depend on them. My bad.
It's all good.
Doctrine of exclusion, and they actually created quite a few of these laws. Salat, yes, sir. Books they have here. Slots. Wow.
I don't know what's going on with Facebook.
Yeah, I tried I was sitting there trying to pull it up, but it wouldn't come up. Exactly, there we go. This is what I was looking for, right here. So yeah, we had the doctrine of exclusion was a law created in 1638, and the law was actually created in Maryland, and each of the colonies adopted that law at different points in time, and they put a twist on it in their own way. But all of those laws were basically the same. It was the base of the whole law was the same, and the whole point of the whole law was to oppress black people, people of color, or the slaves. You understand what I'm saying? So the whole law, basically, like I said, the law said that any slave or any person of color, slave or descendant of a slave, could not enjoy the fruits of white society. The fruits of white society basically is, like I said before, it was any kind of resource or social resource or economical resource that you could actually build a community off of. And basically we went through a few of them, which was schools, malls, different chains of malls. Let's go something like, let's look at it in today's perspective. If you ever go into a Dunkin' Donuts, who owns all the Dunkin' Donuts? It's the East Indian. If you notice, when you go into all of the Dunkin' Donuts, all of the East Indian owns all of the Dunkin' Donuts. And in owning all of the Dunkin' Donuts, let me ask this question. Where does the East Indian spend his money at? The East Indian spends his money with the East Indian. Where does the East Indian live? They have their own communities. They have built a community off of those chains of Dunkin' Donuts that they have been given. I know you didn't really think the East Indian catches a plane in here every day from over in India and comes and works at Dunkin' Donuts and goes home every night back to India. They have their own communities, and they place their communities in places where you don't know. They build their own communities, and they all live together. This is what they do. Just the same way the Chinese do. All of those Chinese and Korean stores, all of those little corner stores, they all put their money together.
Yeah.
They live in their own places. They take the money out of black communities and build their communities off of us. Each one of those stores on average, makes about $10,000 a week. $10,000 of our money. They build their communities. I remember back in the 70s into the early 80s, all of those corner stores were owned by blacks. In my neighborhood alone, come on, you know where I'm from, right? Each one of those stores in our neighborhood were owned by blacks. All of those stores were owned by blacks. By 1995, all of those stores were gone. They were sold. And the Koreans moved right in and took over all of those stores. And they own those stores to this day. They build their communities off the backs of blacks. Just like back before the emancipation, when we were out and out slaves, because we still slaves today. But when you knew you was a slave, they built this country off the backs of blacks, just like they doing today. It's no different. The only difference is they make you think that you're free. And it's crazy what a little law can do. A small law goes a long way. You understand what I'm saying? A small law goes a long way.
All right, what's that scripture you need?
Ecclesiasticus 37:11.
Ecclesiasticus 37:11. All right.
Ecclesiasticus 37:11.
Ecclesiasticus chapter 37 and verse 11. Neither consult with a woman touching her of whom she is jealous.
What does that mean? Neither consult with the woman touching her of whom she is jealous. Basically, what it's saying is, why would you question or ask a woman about another woman of whom she is jealous? That's a crazy thing to do. You understand what I'm saying? Where I'm trying to get at is at the bottom of this scripture, but we're going to go through this whole scripture. Go ahead.
Neither with a coward in matters of war.
You understand that, right? Why would you consult with a person who is scared to fight about war? Why would you consult with him? Why would you ask him? Why would you try to get intel, or what do they call it? What do they call it? What's the word I'm looking for? Why would you ask him?
Strategy.
Strategy. There we go. Why would you get a war strategy from a coward? What can a coward tell you about a war strategy? The only thing a coward can tell you is what? How to run. That's it. You understand? Martin Luther King. You know, we're gonna be non-violent while they banging you upside the head. Why would you consult a coward in war? Go ahead.
Nor with a merchant concerning exchange.
Nor with the merchant concerning exchange. Why would you ask somebody, you know, who's trying to sell you something, how much would they sell it to you for? You understand what I'm saying? Can't do that. Go ahead.
Nor with a buyer of selling.
Which is the same thing. Go ahead.
Nor with an envious man of thankfulness.
How can an envious man be thankful? Envious man can't be thankful. Why would you ask him about thankfulness? Go ahead.
Nor with an unmerciful man touching kindness.
I mean, that's self-explanatory right there. Go ahead.
Nor with a slothful for any work.
Why would you ask somebody who hates to work about work? Go ahead.
Nor with an hireling for a year of finishing work.
Or with the hireling of a year of finishing work. Here's where I'm trying to get to right here. Go ahead.
Nor with an idle servant of much business.
Nor with an idle servant of much business. What is that? We look towards all these political leaders to do us a service, right? And what do they do for us? These are idle servants that you're asking to do much business for you. You understand what I'm saying? Why would you ask a person who doesn't have your interests at heart for a service that would not benefit them? You understand what I'm saying? We look towards these political leaders, and I was talking to him, Kawan, about when we went to the town hall meeting about 4 weeks ago, right?
Okay.
And I was explaining to them how when we went to this town hall meeting, the questions that we were posing, they couldn't answer these questions. They couldn't answer the questions about bringing black businesses back into the black community. The first thing that you explained to them was that if they brought the main point was if they brought these black businesses back into the black community, we could take care of our own people and crime would drop. It doesn't drop all in one instant, but over time, the crime rate would drop. But because of the position that they put us in, and because they have ownership of everything, and because they got the finger to point and say who gets hired and who doesn't, this is why our people suffer in the communities that we suffer in. This is why we suffer the way we suffer. This is why our families are broken. This is why women, this is one of the things that lead women into getting all of those abortions every year. What is the number one reason women get abortions? Why do they say they get abortions? What is the number one reason? Can anybody tell me that? What's the number one reason why most of our women, now every year, on average, every year, our women are aborting about 350,000 babies a year. And the number could be higher than that. The number could be higher than that. But what is the number one purpose that women say that they can't Damn, I almost gave the answer. What is the reason women say they go and get these abortions? Eric, that's true right there, that they not ready to have a baby. But let me ask the question, why are they not ready to have a baby? That right there. And you right there. I know you right there. What is the reason why they say they not ready to have a baby? Yeah, they got their lives ahead of them in their future, but the number one reason that they give that they can't have a baby is they say they can't afford a baby. There you go. You got it. Don't have the money. Exactly. They don't have the money. But think about this, right? From the time of the emancipation in 1865, all the way up until maybe about the mid 60s, our parents were having 5, 6, 7, 8. My grandmother had 11 children. I know people who had 13. Families were big like that. And the only person that went to work was the father. The father went to work, got a car, bought a house, and took care of the whole family in one house. You understand what I'm saying? So, what has changed from 1865 all the way till, and I'm going to go 1970? What changed? Let me ask that question. See if you can get that one. What changed? And it's only one thing that really changed. One thing that changed. I'm going to say that didn't change. I'm going to give you a hint that didn't change. Because everything changes. But it's only one thing that really didn't change. Can you tell me that? I'll give you 30 seconds on that. 30 more seconds. 30 more seconds. Okay, you don't know. I'm going to tell you what it is. The only thing that didn't change was basically the cost of living. You understand what I'm saying? And it wasn't the cost of living across the board. It was only the cost of living for us. You understand what I'm saying? Because in order for them to maintain us as a second-class citizen, they couldn't keep paying us the way that they paid us. You understand what I'm saying? They couldn't keep paying us money to be able to take care of our family, have our wives at home taking care of children. You understand what I'm saying? And I can remember the time where in 1974, my mother brought her first house. And the day that she brought the house, a week later, she went out and bought a car. I'll never forget it. It was a Ford Pinto wagon. And it was like the orangish yellow color. My favorite car when I was young, because it was her first car. A Ford Pinto. She bought it fresh off the lot. And if I'm not mistaken, the car costed her, new off the lot, $3,500. You understand what I'm saying? You hear that, Kawan? 1974. My mother bought a Pinto wagon.
That's what's up.
You understand what I'm saying? She bought a house 1 week and turned around, and after that week, went and got a new car fresh off the lot, taking care of 2 children. You understand what I'm saying? Another vice that they used too was that was a time where they began right there in the late 60s into the early 70s to start breaking up black families. Because they knew if the father stayed in the home, families stayed stronger then. Families persevered. So if they started lowering wages, the cost of living started to go up, and the prices the pay that they were giving you wasn't going up with the cost of living, then it would be a struggle. all of a sudden, what started to happen? Dissension comes into your household when money starts to get tight. You go down to, what's that called? The welfare office. And in order for the woman to get welfare, the man couldn't be in the house. So either you're going to struggle hard or you're going to put that man out. A lot of women chose to put their men out. Then you got a lot of kids on the street, and this is the beginning of crime. When you are considered a second-class citizen, they have to use any vice that they can to keep you a second-class citizen. And the first vice that they used, like I told you, was that doctrine of exclusion, which Maryland adopted that in 1638. That was the beginning right there. You understand what I'm saying? So in connection, they had a couple of other laws in connection. You understand that what was the if you came down to the welfare office and you got welfare, you had to put the man on child support. You understand what I'm saying? So all of these vices are tied into each other. So everything that they was doing was basically to destroy the black family. You understand what I'm saying? Everything that they were doing was basically to destroy the black family. And that's what it's doing today. But a lot of us don't understand that the power is right here in our hand. We hold the cards in our hand. Christ said what? Christ said the kingdom of heaven is at hand, right? The kingdom of heaven is at hand. Most High says, gather yourselves together. What's that? Zephaniah 2:1. Gather yourselves together. Yea, gather yourselves together. O people not desired, right? O nation not desired. Who is the nation not desired? We are the nation not desired. And it's telling you to gather together. If we come together, and it just doesn't mean come together, because you got a lot of people who come together in a whole lot of different groups, but the groups fail. Why do these groups fail when they come together? Because they are not on one accord. So when the Most High says, gather yourselves together, yea, gather yourselves together, O nation not desired, he's telling you to, when he says gather together, that means leave something. That means you have to leave something and come to something. So he's giving you a message twofold. He's telling you to leave that culture or that society that you are in and come back to the culture and society that I have given you. He's talking about come back to these laws, statutes, and commandments. When you come back to these laws, statutes, and commandments, you take care of your own. You look out for your own. The Most High tells us to take care of our own. We are not to look towards another nation for help. When you look towards another nation for help, you become dependent on that nation. You become a slave to that nation. Think about this, right? We have been officially voting since 1965. We got the vote. We got the right to vote back in 1870, but we were oppressed and we were coerced not to vote. But in 1965, we officially had the right to vote. And from 1965 to 2020, what has changed in our community? Somebody tell me what has changed in our communities from 1965 to 2020. Somebody give me something. Tell me what has changed. And I can remember this, right? Pimlico Racetrack was built in 1870, only 5 years after the emancipation. Pimlico Racetrack was built. I can remember in 1978, I remember when they could have, and it probably was said a long time before this, that part of the revenue from the Pimlico Racetrack was going to help to revitalize the Park Heights neighborhood. All of those stores that were up and down Park Heights and Belvedere. That racetrack was part of that revenue from the racetrack was supposed to go to that community. I never saw one store. I never saw one house. I never saw anything get built off of that revenue. Anything. These are the vices that they use, and this is what voting gets us. This is what voting gets us. Voting gets you nothing. Voting gets you to put somebody in office for 4 years that does not have your interests at heart. You make one person or a few people richer than they was the year before. And all of it goes to the oppressor. Because at the end of the day, the oppressor has his hands on all of them. They are nothing but puppets for the oppressor. Think about it. Every time they talk about they're running for city councilman or something like that, what's their whole base that they try to lure you in on? Stopping crime, stopping drugs, stopping the violence in the community. Well, let me ask a question, right? Let's just say this. If I took 5 people from your family and I put them all in a room and kept them in there for 1 week, and I came in with 5 pieces of chicken after that 1 week, what's going to happen with that chicken? They're going to eat that chicken like they never ate before, right? So now, if I kept them in there for another week, and I came back with only 1 piece of chicken, now tell me what's going to happen. Can somebody tell me what's going to happen? Let me give you 30 seconds. 30 seconds. Exactly. They're going to fight. And what does that represent? That represents the violence in our neighborhoods. You understand what I'm saying? When you put a people in a position where they can't take care of themselves, and you have the oppressor taking care of you, and the oppressor puts things into your community to hinder you, these are the things that happen. You understand what I'm saying? Violence is not in our communities because we want it there. Violence is in our communities because the oppressor has made a condition to cause the violence so that he can get somebody else paid. So the violence that he places in our community, he gets the police to come in. And now, what happens when we go to the town hall meeting, Kawan? What do they talk about?
Crime.
But hiring what?
Oh, hiring our children.
More police. No.
Oh, more police.
More police. You understand what I'm saying? This is not controlling the violence because the condition is still the same. But look who's getting paid. So now they hire more police, but the violence is still there because the condition hasn't changed. You understand what I'm saying? This is why we need to own our own businesses in our own communities. This is the reason why we have to separate from the people that run our communities, or this is the reason why we have to separate from this system. This is the reason why Most High says, gather yourselves together. He says, gather yourself together because he wants you to stop selling the drugs. So you say, well, dang, if I stop selling the drugs, then what do I do? Listen, this is the reason why you have to if you stop buying from one corner store for 6 months, that corner store shuts down. Your people put their money together. You put your money into that store and put your own people in that store. Now we buying from our own store. Now you think about it, right? I talked about this last week, Kawan, and I asked, have you ever been boycotted? A lot of people say no, they have never been boycotted, but if you think about it, you are boycotted every day. How are you boycotted? You are silently boycotted. When you go into a Korean store and you buy from them, let me ask you this: does that Korean buy from you? Does that Korean put money back into your neighborhood? Does that Korean give you help when you don't have enough money? That's a silent boycott. That's what a silent boycott. So the East Indian silently boycotts you. The Korean silently boycotts you. The Chinese silently boycott you. The Arab silently boycotts you. And you don't even recognize it. Gather yourself together. Yea, gather yourself together, O nation not desired. First off, we have to recognize that we are the nation not desired. No, let's go further than that. We have to recognize that we are the people that this Bible is talking about. We have to recognize that we are those Hebrew Israelites that are talked about in the Bible. We have to recognize that we are the true Jews of the Bible. Look at the Jews out at Pikesville. Look how they separate themselves. They only took, what they did, took the first 5 books of the Bible, and look at the kingdom that they sitting on. Just imagine if we took the whole Bible for what it's worth, because it's for us. It was given to no other nation. Matter of fact, grab that Psalms, what's that? Psalms 147, 19 and 20, come on.
Psalms 147. Psalms 147 and 19. He showeth his word unto Jacob.
He showeth his word unto Jacob. Who is Jacob? Jacob is the progenitor of the 12 tribes of Israel. Jacob wrestled with the angel, and his name was changed to Israel. And he was the progenitor of the 12 tribes of Israel. Go ahead. His statutes. 19.
His statutes and his judgment unto Israel.
His statutes and his judgments unto Israel. His laws and his judgments for breaking the laws unto Israel. Go ahead.
He have not dealt so with any nation.
Say that again.
He has not dealt so with any nation.
He has not dealt so with any nation.
And as for his judgments,
go ahead.
They have not known them.
They have not known them. Listen, these laws, statutes, and commandments were given to nobody but us, the 12 tribes of Israel, the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and the native Indians. These laws were made for us. So if that so-called Jewish man can take the first 5 books and live in an empire like he lived in, just imagine what we could do if we took this. Because that so-called Jew has no righteousness in him. If we took this book with the righteousness that we have in us, think about it, right? How good do you feel, and how do you treat your brothers and sisters when you have an abundance and you know you can do it for them? You understand what I'm saying? When you know you got it, when you know your brothers and sisters are struggling and you do for them. Think about that. That so-called Jewish man doesn't feel that feeling. That so-called Jewish man doesn't feel the same feeling that we feel when we help out our brothers and sisters. So just imagine what it could change. That's why the Most High tells us to come back to these laws, statutes, and commandments given to us. You understand what I'm saying? He tells us to come back. Gather yourself together, O nation not desired. We are that nation not desired. But if we take these laws, statutes, and commandments that he has given us, oh man, the things that we could do. You understand what I'm saying? These nations, they revel off of us defiling ourselves, because they know as long as we stay in the state that we in, they always gonna be on top. And then what they do is they give a few trinkets to our so-called black politicians and political leaders, They give them a few trinkets, and these trinkets make them only look out for themselves. You know what? That's another thing right there. And what's that? Meritorious manumission. You can look this up on your iPad or whatever. Meritorious manumission in 1710. Meritorious manumission was, it was basically like a reward for a slave or a black person who would turn in somebody who was thinking about insurrecting or doing something to the blacks or doing something to a white person. You understand what I'm saying? And meritorious manumission basically was, if you were enslaved, you could win your freedom by snitching or telling or oppressing black people. And this is basically what our politicians do today.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying?
Okay.
They are rewarded for holding us back. They are rewarded for further destroying our people. They are rewarded for oppressing their own people. It's sad, but it's a fact. You understand what I'm saying? It's sad, but it's a fact. Our own people are being used as a vice to destroy us. And that town hall meeting that we went to, that was 3 weeks ago, Kawan, the one where they switched up the whole system, right?
Okay.
They switched up the whole system where you couldn't ask a question. Now you had to write it on a card and put it in a box, and then you had to hope that they picked your question. You understand? So now what they had the option of doing was focusing on the questions that they wanted to answer, as opposed to the questions that the people wanted answers for. You understand what I'm saying? So politicians have done from 1965 until 2020. We had, let's do this. Let's look at the comparison, right? Let's go back. Let's rewind it. Let's look at the comparison. The so-called blacks were emancipated in 1865. And by 1920, we had already had a bunch of millionaires. That's 55 years. Just about 55 years, we already had millionaires, right? In 1965, let's go back. In 1865 to 1920, they already had millionaires. Not only did they have millionaires, but they had black communities, they had black supermarkets, they had black schools, we had black malls, you had black movie theaters, you had everything was black, because black people at that time in history, we had to depend on black people. Today, it looks like we got it better, but we truly don't. You got millionaires and billionaire black people, but they don't look out for their own. You understand what I'm saying? Look at Oprah Winfrey. Oprah Winfrey went all the way to Africa to build a school. And not only build a school, but build a school for little black African girls. So she still hates black men, because she went all the way to Africa to help little black African girls. She from a slum community in Chicago, and she didn't help a single person in Chicago. I know on her show, she gave out a whole bunch of cars to a bunch of white women, not even an audience with black women in it. She gave a whole bunch of cars to white women. This is what our so-called leaders, or people who look like they so-called leaders in our communities, do. In 1865 to 1920, you had people, black people, had to depend on each other. In 1965 to 2020, You don't have a single black person who does anything or looks out for a single black person. They do for themselves. They look out for their immediate family and people who are close to them. But as far as they can think about this too, right? Let me ask somebody this. Why none of all of these black millionaires, and they talk about we the black millionaires club or whatever. Let me ask a question. Why none of them don't own a basketball team? Why none of them don't own a football team? Why none of them don't own a shopping mall and hire their own people in it? Why none of them haven't opened a black school where you got black teachers teaching black students? Think about it, right? All of these things that can build a community. Why all of these dudes that talk about how many millions they got, why haven't they done that? Because of this culture and this society has them twisted. And their only thought is to look out for themselves. As much as they talk about and they tout themselves and put themselves on a pedestal, they are nothing. Listen, you are nothing if you can't do for your own people. You sit and watch your own people get slaughtered. You sit and watch your own people get tortured. You sit and watch your own people get arrested on bogus charges, and you don't say or do a thing about it.
God.
This is the reason why we are destroyed. You understand what I'm saying? But if we come back to these laws, statutes, and commandments, and that's all it takes. Because if you look at the law, statutes, and commandments, it tells you how to operate amongst the heathen nations. It tells you how to do business. It tells you how to do business with your brothers and sisters. In the Isupkbmore, we already know how to do that. These are the things we were taught coming in the door. If you didn't know it, you definitely was taught that coming in the door. But our so-called leaders, they don't have our best interests at heart, you know? And the only thing they do is they look out for themselves. And because they look out for themselves, everybody is left by the wayside. Everybody else is left by the wayside. And this is the reason why every time you see a brother or sister get destroyed in the street, you never hear them speak up. When I heard Snoop lash back out at that Gayle King, that was the first time I was happy to hear from a rapper or, one of those money makers. You understand what I'm saying? Because the anger that he had was righteous anger. You understand what I'm saying? And that's what all of them should feel like. And that's how all of them should come out and lash back.
He apologized for it.
He apologized for it. Man, you know what? I was hoping that wasn't true. Oh my God.
It was.
So he bucked up. He bucked up. Oh man.
Salakia. That's why we should never look at them as representing representing our community,
right?
But as not look at them as heroes or representing our community, because they're entertainers.
And that's the reason why in the UPK we don't look to them.
Like they're there to entertain our oppressor. That's how they make their money.
Right.
That's how they indulge themselves, and that's how they get the little bit of privilege that they can get by entertaining the oppressor and dealing with us grievously or not at all.
Exactly.
But the brotherhood inside of them sometimes well up, and the natural affinity towards their people wells up sometimes, and then of course the oppressor reels them in. And then they apologize.
They explode for that second. You know what I mean? And
right.
And we always, in the UPK, we always know that we don't look to entertainers as our, as our what's name. But sometimes when you hear him speak out, it kind of make you feel good. It's about time. You understand what I'm saying? But he didn't bucked up. He didn't went and bucked down. So
Bucked up.
you can't really look at it. You know what I mean? And that's the reason why it's the reason why certain people were placed in certain positions. You understand what I'm saying? You gotta have heart to be in this UPK. You gotta be a real man to be in this PK. You gotta be able to speak up for your people and speak out. You gotta be able to speak up when you see unjust, or unjust happening. You understand? You gotta be able to speak up. And this is the very thing that destroys us. So now, the apology that he made destroys everything that he said in the beginning. And the rousers the people that he probably aroused, now he lulled them back to sleep. You understand what I'm saying? He done lulled them back to sleep. So now UPK got to keep getting out there, and we got to keep battling hard like we always do. We got to keep battling like we always do. And this is the reason why you can't depend on an entertainer, a singer, or an actor. You understand? Because they don't stand for you. They stand for your oppressor.
God.
You understand what I'm saying? They stand for the oppressor. Where was we at? Did we finish that?
Salaki, one more thing real quick.
Go ahead.
Ever since Muhammad Ali, if you go back and listen to some of the interviews and excerpts of Muhammad Ali,
right,
he was an absolute separatist.
Yeah.
And not only that, his prowess was coming from his people.
Yeah.
They made sure that would never happen again.
Right.
They made sure that your brand, your business,
right,
your entertainment, that your career was firmly in the hand of your white handlers.
Exactly.
So therefore, you would not turn on your white handlers, or we'll send you back to the ghetto, or we'll send you to jail. So these entertainers today, remember, black people don't own BET no more.
No.
We ain't on BET since the 80s sometimes. Right. So everything you got to understand something. If you make a CD,
mm-hmm,
your brand, the promotion of it, the distribution of it, the management of it, the warehousing of it, right, is all done by the oppressor.
Exactly.
So now you ain't gonna go against that. What you gonna do is try to do everything the hell he telling you to do.
Right.
Put violence on that.
Right.
Make sure that black women is twerking on poles. Mm-hmm. Black men is leaving there. Black men is calling their women dogs and every derogatory name that they can.
Anything you can call it that's negative.
It's insane. Exactly. But that's the position that we're in because we wanted to join white people. We wanted to act like them and be like them.
Exactly.
That's why we at where we at.
Exactly.
Excellent job, Priest.
Exactly. And this is the reason why Commanding General Yohana has placed it in our brain. It is etched on our brain not to follow no entertainer or not to look towards an entertainer for anything, because that's all they are entertainers, This is it. Matter of fact, let's go to Lamentations 4:17.
Okay. Get that for you. Lamentations chapter 4, you said 17? And 17. As for us, our eyes as yet failed for our vain help.
As for our eyes as yet failed for our vain help. What does that mean? Tell me what that means. Who are our eyes? You got that, Kawan?
Our eyes as yet failed for our vain help.
Who are our eyes? That's our political leaders. That's our eyes, right? As for our eyes, as yet fail for our vain help, our empty help, right? In our watching, we have watched for a nation that could not save us. We look.
You say that again. Our eyes is what?
As our listen. It says, as for our eyes, as for us, our eyes as yet fail for our vain help.
You said our eyes were what?
That's our political leaders.
Okay. Our leaders.
Yeah,
our leaders.
Our leaders.
Mm-hmm.
And this
people that supposed to be watching out for us.
Yeah, they're supposed to be watching out for us. Right?
Yes, the people that are supposed to be watchers.
And that's what we're talking about right now. You understand what I'm saying? And this was the whole point of us going to this town hall meeting. You understand? Our whole point of going to the town hall meeting was not to see what they were going to do for us, but it was to show our people that these people have no vision for us. What we are looking for, they are not. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
When we go into these, our people go in with the intentions on looking for a person to vote for. When we went in as a UPK, we weren't going in to look to see who we were going to vote for, but we were looking to expose the people who were running for office to our people.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying? So we showing them from 1965 all the way up until 2020, what has voting gotten us? You understand what I'm saying? What has voting gotten us? Voting has gotten us nothing. We are in the same position. Now, times change, technology changes, but we still the same poor people that we were in 1965. You understand? We still the poor, the same second-class citizen people that we were in 1965. You say, but we got millionaires. But what are those millionaires doing for us? You understand what I'm saying? What are these millionaires? You got all of these millionaires. You look at all of these dudes with all of this money. They throw around all of this money every day, every way. You understand what I'm saying? But what have they done for their community? Think about it. Jay-Z come from Marcy Projects in New York, right? What has he done for the Marcy Project community? And I ain't talking about putting a basketball court there. All Negroes do that. What is a basketball court going to do for us? How is a basketball court going to grow your community? How is a football field going to grow your community? You understand what I'm talking about? We're talking about building stores and malls and putting your people in there. You understand what I'm saying? We're talking about building schools and hiring Black teachers to teach Black people and Black students and Black children. You understand what I'm saying? That's what we're talking about. Something that you can build a community off of. Building a chain of chicken spots that your people work in, that they can take care of their own families and communities from. New York Fried Chicken owned by all the Arabs. Crown Chicken owned by all the Arabs. The Arabs come right in. They sell you all. We make the best chicken in the world, but we buy chicken from Arabs. Hip Hop Chicken. Arabs again. Selling you chicken again. You understand? And then they putting, what's that? Powder, whatever they put on.
Crystals, dope.
Dope on it, all on the chicken, and got people coming back for more.
Salakia, and Jay-Z is a billionaire.
Who?
Jay-Z is a billionaire.
He's a billionaire.
That's 4 Black billionaires.
Yeah, and what do they do for their community?
Nothing.
Not a goddamn thing. Because even though he's a billionaire, he's a drop in the bucket to the by comparison to the nigga that owns him.
Gun.
Because if they made him a billionaire, then there's somebody over him way bigger than him that's dangling him over top of his people. It's somebody way bigger than him that's controlling him and not allowing him to do for his people. Same with Beyonce. She may be a billionaire, but somebody over top of her, dangling her over top of her people. Think about this. Beyonce made all of them songs about all the single ladies and all this old bullshit, and she go right home to her husband and got you dancing by your goddamn self. All them stupid ass songs. Making you look silly. She say some of the stupidest crap that women believe in and go right back to her husband. I can do bad by myself and go right back to her husband. And y'all dumbasses go out here and listen to her. Quitting your boyfriend. Sloppy. I'm sorry, ladies. I didn't mean I got a little. My bad. I'm sorry. Ladies, I did not mean that, but I'm just saying. We got to start looking towards ourselves and coming together, because you can see that these political leaders, these entertainers and everything, they do not have our interests at heart. This is the reason why the Most High tells us to come together. He tells us to come together on one accord so that we can experience the kingdom of heaven. Heaven is here, right here on earth. A lot of people think you got to die and go to heaven. The white man the oppressor's living in his heaven right here on earth right now. So how fair is it that the oppressor is living in his heaven, but you got to die to experience yours? How fair, how good or how gracious of a God would God be to say that your oppressor can experience his heaven right now, but you got to die to experience yours? And then not only that, we are flashy type of people. When we experience a little bit of heaven, we want people to see it. I don't want to die to experience my heaven without nobody seeing me in heaven. You know what I'm saying? Just like when you buy a new truck or something like that, you want everybody to see it. You buy a new car, you want everybody to see it. You buy a new house, you want everybody to see it. Who wants to experience a heaven after you die? Think about it. This is the reason why the Most High tells us to come together. We got to get back to these laws, statutes, and commandments that the Most High has given us. These laws, statutes, and commandments will have us in heaven.
So like your Twitter breakdown, you break down Ecclesiastes 7:7. Get that for you. Ecclesiastes.
Go ahead.
Ecclesiastes chapter 7 and verse 7. Surely oppression maketh a wise man mad.
It says, surely oppression maketh a wise man mad. Let me ask this first. What is a wise man? Let's do that first. Let's ask that question. What is a wise man? Can somebody tell me that? Let me know if somebody get that. Just give them 30 seconds on that. If they don't get 30 seconds, then I'm gonna answer it for them.
Eric says a righteous man.
Exactly. That's a wise man is a righteous man. A wise man is a man that's up under these laws, statutes, and commandments that have been given to us by the Most High. It says, surely oppression maketh the wise man mad. When you see your brothers and sisters, when you are a righteous man and you see your people being oppressed, it should make you mad. It should make you angry. It should make your blood boil. You understand what I'm saying? This is what it means. Oppression maketh a wise man mad. You should feel like that. All righteous men feel like that. When you are not a righteous man, you can still feel like that, but you can go in the wrong direction. This is what made that brother up in Philly. Was that up in Philly when he shot the two people in the deli?
Okay.
That was in Philly. That's a man who's mad, but that's not in righteousness. You understand what I'm saying? When you are a man in righteousness, you got to know how to curb your anger. You understand what I'm saying? You got to go ahead.
Got the definition of wise.
Go ahead.
For you. Having or showing experience, knowledge, and good judgment.
Experience, knowledge, and good judgment. That's all in the Bible.
The power of discernment.
That's it. It's only one power of discernment. You understand what I'm saying? That's the law, statutes, and commandments. If you're not in these law, statutes, and commandments, you don't have the power of discernment. You don't have good judgment. You understand what I'm saying? You have to be in these laws, and to be in these law, statutes, and commandments, and to have it right, you can't be in church. You got to be in this Isupkbmore under the command general, your honor. This is where true righteousness lies, right there in the UPK.
Wisdom.
If you're not in this UPK, you have no wisdom. This is the beginning of wisdom and understanding. Right here. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom and knowledge. You understand what I'm saying? You got to be in these laws, statutes, and commandments. This is the beginning right here. All right, where we at?
And a gift destroyeth the heart.
And a gift destroyeth the heart. What does that mean? A gift destroyeth the heart. Think about it. We were just talking about it. We were just talking about it a couple of seconds ago. A gift destroyeth the heart. Your oppressor, he will give one person $1 billion not to help the masses. He will give a woman like Oprah Winfrey $1 billion, a TV show, and all kinds of cooking shows, not to help her people. Why would you come from out of Chicago, the rough neighborhoods of Chicago, make $1 billion and then go all the way to Africa to open a girls' school? Why would you do that? That's wicked right there. A gift destroyeth the heart. Those little trinkets that they giving them is to keep us, what is that word, subjugated? To keep us under this oppression. To keep us in oppression. They give one $1 million, and then they look down at the masses and say, well, if he can do it, you can do it. You understand what I'm saying? If he can do it, you can do it. You understand what I'm saying? A gift destroyeth the heart. That's what that is. That was it? Okay. So where was we at? Let's do this. Let's go to another scripture. Let's go to Revelation. Chapter 13. Oh, no. My bad. Leave that alone. Let's go to Ecclesiastes 7 and 13.
Ecclesiastes. The book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 7 and verse 13. Consider the work of God.
It says, consider the work of God. How do you consider the work of God? Let's look at the things that the Most High have created. He created the man, right? But not only did he create the man, but he created the man and the woman to go together. You understand what I'm saying? He took gaseous airs and all kinds of molecules and put them together and created the earth. Consider the work of God. Consider what he created. He took something else and made it revolve around the earth, called it the moon.
Yeah.
He took the earth and made the earth to revolve around the sun. Consider the work of God. Who can do anything greater than that? Consider the work of God. Go ahead.
For who can make that straight?
Say that again.
For who can make that straight?
Go ahead.
Which have made crooked.
It says, for who can make that straight?
Which he have made crooked.
Think about this. As much as some of our people love this oppressor, we think if we keep feeding and eating the crumbs from the oppressor's table, the crumbs that he drops on the floor that we eat, we figure that one day he's going to recognize us. He's going to say, you know what? Let me make their condition better. He thinks that all of those marches, all of those protests, and all of these things are going to make a difference in the oppressor's heart. But who can make that straight, which he hath made crooked? Listen, the Most High made him this way. And because we didn't follow those laws, statutes, and commandments, he put that crooked thing that he made over top of us. We did not have to have, or we did not have to be in this captivity as long as we are in it. All we had to do was come back to his laws, statutes, and commandments. And our captivity would have been over. You understand what I'm saying? The Most High made this thing. He made this thing in a particular way. And when the Most High makes something in a particular way, there's nothing that you can do to make that thing in a different way. There is no way that you can make what he has made crooked. You can't make it straight. The thing that he made evil, you cannot make good. The thing that he made without compassion, you can't give compassion to. You understand what I'm saying? This is just the way he made this thing. But us, we have so much compassion in our heart that we actually think that this thing that the Most High has made has compassion in his heart. But the Most High, the Bible tells us that he was created. He was made this way from the womb. What's that scripture?
The one I was just reading?
No, the one I just now said, the wicked from the womb.
The wicked from the womb?
Yeah.
1 second.
This thing is wicked from the womb. Listen, this oppressor was made to be this way.
Psalms 58:3.
Yeah, let's go to that.
Want that? Okay.
Psalms 58:3.
Psalms chapter 58 and verse 3. The wicked are estranged from the womb.
Say that again.
The wicked are estranged from the womb.
It says the wicked are estranged from the womb. What does estranged mean? Can somebody give me a definition on estranged? What does estranged mean? Estranged from the womb. Only gonna give you 30 seconds on that. See if somebody can grab that for me.
I got the definition for you if you
Give me
want.
that definition.
A strange definition. No longer close or affectionate to someone alienated.
There you go, right there. That's it. No longer affectionate. He is separate. Once he comes from that womb, he has no connection to anything. He has no love for anybody. Listen, it says the wicked are estranged. Listen, it's calling them the wicked coming out of the womb. The wicked are estranged from the womb. They have no compassion for anybody coming out of the womb. Go ahead.
Salaki. The same wicked that the earth was given to.
The same wicked that the earth was given into the hands of the wicked. Go ahead.
They go astray as soon as they be born.
They go astray as soon as they be born. Listen, they go on their way doing wickedness as soon as they be born. They speak, almost gave that.
Speaking lies.
Speaking lies. They speak lies from the womb. This is just an attribute of the wicked. You understand what I'm saying? This is just an attribute of the wicked. This is what they do. You understand what I'm saying? And the wicked controls our so-called political leaders, politicians, entertainers, and all. Nobody speaks for us. Tell me somebody that speaks for us. Even look, I watch CNN, I watch Bloomberg News and all of that, right? If you can just look and see how our people speak on these platforms, even the ones in the highest position.
Good.
You understand? On CNN, they talk like they not even a part of us. You understand what I'm saying? And every so often, they may raise an eyebrow about something, but they keep in line with the oppressor.
Good.
And this is the reason why the Most High tells us to separate from them. He tells us to come out from among them. He tells us to come out from among them because these people do not have your best interests at heart. And we can see that. And like I said, from 1965 all the way until 2020, we have already seen that. How our neighborhoods have changed. How has our neighborhoods changed from 65 to 2020? Our neighborhoods haven't changed a bit. Like I said, technology and times changed. But the destituteness, the poor, the unfortunate, all of those things have not changed in us. The poverty has not changed. Everything is still the same. Education doesn't guarantee you anything. Just because these people are moving up the political ladder, it doesn't mean anything. We look towards the wrong people for salvation. Our salvation is in these laws, statutes, and commandments. Coming back to these laws, statutes, and commandments that have been given to us by the Most High. Getting up under righteous guidance in this Isupkbmore. This is where you get it from. You understand what I'm saying? This is where you come to get your righteousness under the commanding general Yohana, right up under this Isupkbmore. This is where you get your righteousness at. If we was all under these laws, statutes, and commandments, we'd be in the kingdom of heaven right now. Tells us we come back to these laws, statutes, and commandments, we'll be the head and they'll be the tail. Right now, they're the head and we're the tail. We get the ass end of everything. And that's just natural. No matter how big you are. Think about it. LeBron James went to LA, last year, right? And they wrote nigga on the side of his house. Why they write nigga on the side of his house? Can somebody tell me why they wrote nigga on the side of his house? So that he would never forget who he really was. You know how uppity niggas get when they get money and they move into these white neighborhoods. They forget who they are. Well, our oppressor is quick to remind you of who you are. They don't want you to think that you're on the same level as them. You understand what I'm saying? And this is how they keep you in place. You know? So we look at all these basketball stars and all these sports figures. We look at all of these athletes and entertainers and actors and everything, politicians, and we make it and we think that, oh, they made it. No, they haven't made it. They have not made it.
Right.
They have not made it anywhere.
Right.
The most that the thing that they have lost is most of them have lost their dignity. You understand what I'm saying? Most of them have lost their dignity. And no matter how poor we are in the hood, no matter how poor we are in our neighborhoods, we have not lost our dignity like they have. And some of us have, but for the most part, a lot of us haven't. You understand? We just don't have it like them. And what they do is they try to show off what they got. So we'll lose our dignity to go out there and get what they got, like that sellout Steve Harvey. He's the worst. He's a what do they call it? Come on. What do they call it? He's the worst representation of a black man. You understand what I'm saying? He's selling, think about this, right? He's selling books.
He's the alpha coon.
But he's selling books on relationships. And he on his 5th relationship. You understand? How can you buy a book from a man who knows nothing about relationships? Money can keep any woman in a relationship. You understand what I'm saying? Who he should have been talking about is the woman that he was with when he was broke. That's who he should have been. But as soon as he got a little bit of money, he definitely left her. You understand what I'm saying? He definitely left her.
You brought out the precept for that earlier, too.
I bring out that?
Brought out a precept for that earlier. You could have put to that. Excellent job. Excellent.
Look, I said so much stuff, but I forgot what I said. But these are the people that we look towards. And the thing is that their money masks a lot of their instability and their problems. You understand what I'm saying? The money that they have covers up a whole lot, even with these preachers and pastors. The money that they have cover up a lot of their issues and their problems. Money does not solve anything. You understand what I'm saying? Because once the money is gone, the problems arise. Money does not make a woman love you. Money makes a woman stage. Good night. You understand what I'm saying? Money does not make a woman love you. Money makes a woman stay with you. That's it. That's all to it, you know? A lot of things get masked up with money. A lot of the problems that you have are nothing compared to the people with the money. You can just imagine what kind of problems Jay-Z and Beyonce going through. They got billions, but they hanging in there. Billions ain't gonna let you see them problems until them billions are gone. Once them billions are gone, you will see how they really feel about each other. You know what I mean? That's why I respect any poor man and woman that's together and that's still together. That's real love right there. And then if they build together, that makes the love better. But you can't be a billionaire and a billionaire and come together and think you got real love. We just love each other because we both got money. That's it. You understand what I'm saying? That's all to it. It says these people are wicked from the womb. Listen, check this out. You know, we got to come back to these laws, statutes, and commandments that was given to us by the Most High. This is how we can build our communities. You know, these laws, statutes, and commandments, like I said at the beginning, right? The so-called Jewish man took the first 5 books. You understand what I'm saying? He owns the Diamond District. He owns he owns the movie world. He owns the music world. He owns all of that. You understand what I'm saying? He only took the first 5 books. If we pull ourselves out of that, out of this world and back into these laws, statutes, and commandments, we could build our own world. And they be working for us instead of us working for them. Because basically, that's all this world is a modern day slavery, us working for them. You go to work every day to pay them rent and mortgage. You work for them to give you money, for you to give it back to them. That's hell right there. You stop working, they take your car, they take your house, now you out on the street. So now you got to keep going to work. You got to keep drudging to work. You got to keep going to work. You got to keep putting up with crap. All we got to do is come back to these laws, statutes, and commandments. We come back to these laws, statutes, and commandments, and that's ball games. Like I said, we'll be the head, and they'll be the tail. It's the reason why we go out on these streets. We go out on these streets every Saturday, and we preach to the brothers and sisters to come back, to hear these laws, statutes, and commandments. Stop eating that shrimp, crab, and lobster. That destroys us right there. That shrimp, crab, and that lobster. If people could come off of that. Think about this, right? We could cripple America. First off, they said in America, I heard that on Bloomberg News, and I also heard it on CNN the other day, right? 70% of the economy is built on the consumer. What is the consumer? What is a consumer? A consumer, and this is on just basic right here. Basically, what the consumer is a person that spends, buys. That's a consumer. If you spending and you selling, you are not a consumer. Because you giving and you taking. That's fair exchange. The consumer, 70% of the U.S. economy is built on the consumer. 70% of the U.S. economy is built on the so-called Black, Hispanics, and Native Indians because we own nothing. We don't sell to anybody, but we buy from everybody. The Koreans and the Chinese are not consumers because they sell. And they spend their money amongst their own. You understand? So they building their own economy. The Arabs sell. And then they spend their money amongst their own. But they sell to us. The Chinese sell to us. The Koreans sell to us. The East Indians sell to us. We are the consumer. And because we are the consumer, 70% of the U.S. economy is built on us.
Sure.
We could cripple them. We could cripple them just alone by if we stop smoking cigarettes and weed. That cripple their economy right there.
Sure.
Cigarettes and weed. And goddamn, if you stop eating the pork, that'll really tear them apart. Because pork on everything. Pork is in everything.
Sure.
You ever seen you know what I found out a couple of years ago, right? If you use that Noxzema, you know that gelatin is in that pork. That pork oil is in the Noxzema. You understand what I'm saying? I found out from Cap. When I first, I don't think I was an officer. I was still a trooper. That the pork was in the gummy bear. You understand what I'm saying? So, I mean, they put pork in everything. This keeps us defiled. The nations want us to be defiled so they can look upon Zion. I forgot what's that? Micah 4:11. Is that Micah 4:11? Or is that Micah 4:7?
Say some of it.
The nations look upon Zion. know it's in Micah. Yeah, Micah 4:11.
Let me get that.
Now also many nations are gathered against thee that say, let her be defiled. Listen, these nations want us to be defiled. Because as long as we keep sinning and transgressing against the Most High, we will never experience heaven. You understand what I'm saying? We will never look upon Zion. They living in their heaven right now. This is the reason why they keep giving you pork. They put bacon on everything. They got pork in everything. They giving you all, and then you got our people out here eating hog guts and all of this other stuff. You understand what I'm saying? Eating octopus and all of this shrimp, crab, this lobster. This is the reason why when you go straight into a sub shop, they got the shrimp and the crab sitting right up the front. So you can see it. That's a woman's weakness right there. A crab, especially here in Baltimore, that's a woman's weakness. It says, look, now also many nations are gathered against.
Let me read
Listen.
that. Let me read that for you.
Go ahead.
Micah 4, verse 11. Now also many nations are gathered against thee.
Listen, it says many nations are gathered against thee. The Chinese, the Korean, the East Indian, the Arab, your oppressor. Many nations are gathered against thee. Why are they gathered against thee? Go ahead.
That say, let her be defiled.
That say, let her be defiled. How can you be defiled? By eating that shrimp, by eating that crab,
right?
By eating that lobster,
right?
By fornicating. Listen, by getting high, by selling drugs to your people, by shooting and killing your people. Listen, these are not our customs and culture. These are the customs and culture of the other nations. You understand? Look at these Chinese people eating bat soup. Who eats bat soup? Who cooks a live dog over an open fire? Who eats muskrat? Who eats rat? You understand what I'm saying? Look at what these other nations are doing. You ever seen the temple of the East Indians? You ever seen them go in the temples and rats running everywhere, running all over them? Come on, man. These are not our customs and culture. Let them look. They look upon, look, go ahead, read, finish reading.
And let our eye look upon Zion.
Listen, they want you to be defiled so their eyes can look upon Zion, so they can keep getting your money, so they can be the rich one. This is the reason why we are destroyed. You understand? You think they doing something good for you by cooking you that shrimp, crab, and lobster, but they know that you are being defiled. See, listen, they know that they are not under the laws, statutes, and commandments given to us by the Most High. They know they not. You understand what I'm saying? This is the reason why we are the ones suffering. Think about it. Ask yourself, why are they not suffering? Why are they not suffering? Because they don't transgress against the Most High, because these laws were not given to them, nor do they know them. You understand what I'm saying? This was given to us. The Most High gave us the laws, statutes, and commandments. And they're looking upon everything that we should be looking upon. They have their own community. Listen, we go to DC and we sitting right there at, what's that? Chinatown. They got Chinatown. They own everything in Chinatown. They own the Victoria's Secrets in Chinatown. They own the Starbucks. You understand? They own everything in Chinatown. They making $1 off of everything around there. And they don't even live in Chinatown. They take their money back to their community. That's sad. You know what the hurting thing about it is that we have the plan right here. We got the blueprint right here. What the brother said the other day. We got the cheat code right here. You understand what I'm saying? If we was playing a video game, we'd have a cheat code right here. Everything to make us winners.
Just cutting it down.
You know, we you know, I mean, everything that we got, I mean, the little bit that we got, we could have way more. All we have to do is come back to these laws, statutes, and commandments. This UPK has the answer. You understand? The UPK has the answer. We just have to follow these laws, statutes, and commandments. We have to come together. We got to stop getting high. Stop smoking that weed. We can get off of that weed. We can get off that shrimp, that crab, and that lobster.
Sure.
We can start treating our brothers like brothers and our sisters like sisters. We could come back. We could be the head, and they would be the tail.
Sure.
Everything that they got was built off of, think about it, right? When they came over here, they stole the land from the native Indians. They pushed the Hispanics off of their land and brought us in and made us slaves. They unrighteously got everything that they got. All we have to do is come back to the law, statutes, and commandments that were given to us by the Most High. And it's ball game. This ball game. I mean, just look at the book. I mean, look at everything that it says. It tells you everything that you do. If you do this, you'll be here. If you do that, you'll be here. It tells you. Where do you get that teaching at? Right here in the UPK, under the commanding general, your honor.
Right.
All we have to do is come back to the laws. That's it. It's not hard. It's not grievous. No. Christ came in and showed you. You can follow every law. Think of, look, I ain't even gonna go there. I ain't even gonna go there with it. Basically, you can do this, right? You live by the law, statutes, and commandments just by you do most of the laws just off of natural instinct anyway. You stop that shrimp, crab, and that lobster, and that'd be ball game. We stop selling drugs to our people, that'd be ball game. We stop backbiting and stabbing our people in the back, that'd be ball game. We start treating our brothers and sisters like brothers and sisters. Start taking care of our own. It tells us we should not look towards another nation to do for us, to take care of us. We're supposed to look towards our own. Commanding General Yohana teaches us that every day. He takes care of this nation. This is the reason why we can get up here and speak the way we speak, because we have seen these things in this Bible come to fruition. We've seen it work. We know it can work. And this is why we're trying to get you to understand that it can work. You come back to these law, statutes, and commandments, and that's it. You understand what I'm saying? And with that, we are the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, started out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under the commanding General Yohana. We have been bringing this truth since 1969. And what is that truth? That the so-called black, the so-called Hispanics, and the so-called Native Indians are the true Jews of the Bible, and the white man is the devil that the Bible speaks of. And I'm going to turn the class over to Priest Officer Kawan Palak.
All right. All right. Sure. Hey, shalom, both. Shalom, Akim and Akwakim. We are the ISUPK out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York,
under commanding General Yohana. New rules for brothers and sisters. When a brother or a sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to shed themselves of the world. After 6 months, if a brother or a sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There is another 6 months in which the brother or sister will court each other. These are very important, Akim and Akwakim. These are very important. You must understand that the laws of God are particular and demanding.
That's right.
If you marry a brother or a sister, you are to be with them for life. We take these vows very seriously. And if you do that, you have a lifelong commitment to someone you may not be compatible with if you do not follow the rules of this school, man, and the rules of the Bible. You understand? So listen closely. After this 6 month period, the brother or sister will get permission from the head to marry. To marry is a physical act. If you lie with a brother or sister, you are now biblically married. Married in the eyes of God, meaning one flesh, one bone, one blood, inseparable. Tithes, which is a commandment. You can find this in Numbers 18:21, Malachi 3:8 and 10. Means tenth in the Hebrew and is pronounced ma'ashrah. 10% of every penny of every increase the Lord gives you, you give to the treasury department or teacher. Every 10% of any money that you get, if you win the lottery, give commanding General Yohana his goddamn money, man. If you get a bonus on the job, give commanding General Yohana his goddamn money, man. If you work overtime, give commanding General Yohana his money, man. He's taking care of the people. He's not Kobe Bryant. You understand me? He's not Michael Jordan. He's not going to take his money and go buy some goddamn $500 tennis and a damn Porsche, man. He's going to take care of the people that's hungry and dying. He's a watchman, bro. It's a free man talking, bro. He's a watchman. He's going to take care of our people. He takes care of the squeegee boys on the corner, the homeless men. That's the people he look out for. The sister who's thinking about getting an abortion, don't want an abortion, but she feels she can't take care of the child. Commanding General Yohana will take care of that child. Send your damn tithes in, man. Send your tithes in. Be selfish, man. Send your damn tithes in. All right? Priest fund. Free will offering for priests. Not mandatory. Whatsoever amount you would like to give. If you like what the priest said today, if this truth was inspiring to you, cash out the school, man. Send in something. Send something to Commanding General Yohana to let Commanding General Yohana know that the way he's teaching these brothers, the way he's raising these brothers is right, is correct, is bold, and is absolutely righteous, man. Send in something to let him know that what he's doing is correct. These brothers are inspiring you. Send something to Commanding General Yohana, who made this all possible for you. All right? All right. Remind Akim and Akwakim, Salakia, upcoming holy congregation. The 51st annual Passover is coming. Commanding General Yohana has given an order for all so-called camps, for all so-called black leaders, for all of Israel. All of the Akim, Akwaphium, that's men, women, are all ordered by the rightful leader of Israel, by the appointed 13-shield general, given that appointment by the original 7. If you claim to be a Hebrew Israelite, you absolutely must understand and respect the authority of Commanding General Yohana. If you don't, you're a goddamn fraud. Commanding General Yohana is a 13-shield general and in charge of Israel. He has given an order for all of Israel to unite and come together to the 51st Passover, the 51st annual ISUPK Passover. You are to be there, man. It is $100 for every adult. Children are free. You got these fake camps out here charging over $1,000 to go to a Passover. Commanding General Yohana is trying to get things straight so we have a venue big enough for everybody to come and get right and be righteous. Bring your black behind to this Passover, man. 51st annual, the beginning, the awakening. If you are a Hebrew Israelite, you count yourself as being in the truth, as being awakened. You count yourself as loving black people and wanting black people to succeed and move forward. If you love a black God named Yahweh and his black son, who is the king of Israel named Yahweh Shai, bring your black behind to the 51st annual Passover, man. If a brother wants to be a trooper in the school, then he is to start wearing all black. That means all black, man. It means all black. No goddamn white shoestrings. It means black shoestrings. It means all black. All right? Includes black boots, shirts, pants, headband, or scarf. Let's get it in. Let's give one courtesy salute to the teacher. Men of Israel, Imagium Shabbat, Mush, Bruh, Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shabbat,
Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shabbat.
Yasimata, dismissed.